Have you ever listened to someone speak English so naturally that it felt effortless and wondered, will I ever sound like that? You're not alone. Millions of learners dream the same dream, but most give up before they see how close they really are. Here, on English Story Avenue, we don't just learn English, we live it through stories. Every story you'll hear will inspire you, teach you, and take you one step closer to the fluent, confident English speaker inside you. Because learning a language isn't about rules, it's about feeling, growth, and believing that your voice matters. Welcome to English Story Avenue, where every story brings your English to life. Have you ever noticed how curiosity begins with a single question that refuses to leave your mind? It's that quiet voice that asks, "What does this mean?" Or, "Why is this word used that way?" Curiosity is the spark that lights every journey of learning, especially when it comes to English. You see, the problem isn't that English is hard, it's that many people stop being curious about it. They treat it like a subject to pass, not a mystery to explore. But the moment you start wondering, when you lean closer to a phrase, when you pause at a new expression and let it whisper its meaning to you, that's when real learning begins. Curiosity doesn't demand that you understand everything immediately, it simply asks that you care enough to try. When Alex first opened a book in that magical library, he didn't understand half the words, but instead of closing it, he leaned in. He let his curiosity lead him. He didn't memorize, he imagined. He tried to see the emotion behind the words, the reason why the author chose them. And in doing so, he found that curiosity was not just a habit, it was the heart of understanding. Every learner has that same light inside. Curiosity turns confusion into discovery, mistakes into lessons, and words into bridges. It teaches you to ask better questions, to search deeper, and to keep going even when things don't make sense. The more curious you become, the less learning feels like a burden, and the more it feels like an adventure. So, when you read a new word, don't rush past it. Taste it, wonder about it. Where did it come from? What emotion does it hold? How does it sound when spoken with feeling? Because every word in English has a story behind it, waiting for someone curious enough to listen. And maybe, just maybe, that curious person is you. Consistency is the quiet force behind every success story. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, it simply shows up day after day like the sunrise. When learning English, many people dream of quick results, to speak fluently in weeks, to understand every movie, to sound like a native overnight. But the truth is, language doesn't grow in leaps, it grows in layers. Each day you listen, speak, read, or write, even for a few minutes, you're adding another layer to your understanding. Alex learned this in the Library of Lost Words. At first, he wanted to master everything at once. He tried to memorize hundreds of words, to read entire books in a day. But the library had its own rhythm. Every time he rushed, the words faded from the pages. Only when he slowed down, reading one paragraph carefully, repeating one word until it felt natural, did the words begin to stay. That's when he realized, perfection doesn't come from pressure, it comes from patience. Consistency teaches you something that no shortcut ever can. The joy of progress. Some days it feels like nothing is improving. You forget what you studied, your tongue trips over words, your confidence wavers. But then, one day, without even noticing, you understand a sentence that once confused you. You express a thought that once felt impossible. And in that moment, you realize that every small effort was building something unseen inside you. Learning English isn't about studying for hours once in a while, it's about showing up regularly even when you don't feel like it. 5 focused minutes every day will take you further than 5 hours once a month. Because consistency is not just a practice, it's a promise you make to yourself. A promise that says, I will keep going even when it's slow, even when it's hard. In the end, it's not talent that separates the fluent from the fearful. It's consistency, the decision to keep turning the page, to keep speaking even when you stumble, and to keep believing that every word you learn brings you one step closer to your voice. Imagination is the secret doorway to true understanding. It transforms learning from something mechanical into something magical. When you use your imagination while learning English, words stop being flat symbols on a page. They become living, breathing ideas. They gain color, shape, and emotion. Imagination turns learning into feeling, and that makes all the difference. Alex discovered this when he began reading stories in the Library of Lost Words. He didn't just read the sentences, he entered them. When he read about the wind, he felt it brushing his face. When a character spoke, he imagined the tone, the rhythm, the heartbeat behind their words. It was as if each line carried him into a new world where English was no longer a subject, but a landscape waiting to be explored. This is the power of imagination. It helps you remember and connect. You can memorize 100 words and forget them in a week, but if you see them, feel them, and live them in your mind, they stay with you forever. When you imagine, you build bridges between words and experiences, and that connection makes language come alive. Even simple words like rain, home, or dream carry deep pictures inside them. Imagine rain falling softly on your window as you whisper the word rain. Picture your home, the light, the warmth, the feeling of belonging. Say dream, and let your mind paint what hope looks like to you. This kind of learning is not just about vocabulary, it's about understanding life through language. So when you study English, don't just read, see. Don't just listen, feel. Let your imagination walk beside every word, because the moment you imagine what you learn, you stop being just a student of English. You become a storyteller, a creator of meaning. And in that space, learning becomes something far greater than a task. It becomes a journey of discovery. Every word carries an emotion, a heartbeat, a fragment of someone's soul. That is the hidden beauty of language. It's not just about structure and sound, but about connection. When you learn a new English word, you're not only adding to your vocabulary, you're unlocking a new way to feel and express yourself. Language is how emotions travel from one heart to another. Alex realized this one evening in the Library of Lost Words when he found a book glowing faintly with a single phrase. I understand. As he whispered the words aloud, he felt something shift inside him. He remembered all the moments he wished someone had said those words to him when he was struggling, when he was afraid. Suddenly, English wasn't just a language of grammar and pronunciation, it was a bridge between human hearts. That moment taught him that emotions give life to language. When you speak without emotion, your words are empty shells. But when you speak with feeling, with warmth, hope, curiosity, or compassion, your words begin to breathe. English becomes more than a subject. It becomes a mirror that reflects who you are inside. Learning English this way means learning to feel before you speak. When you say thank you, let gratitude fill your voice. When you say I'm sorry, let it carry honesty. When you say I believe, let conviction shine through. Because people don't remember perfect grammar, they remember how your words made them feel. This emotional connection is what turns learners into communicators. It's what gives your voice power. Words without feeling are noise, but words filled with emotion can move minds and change hearts. So as you continue your journey with English, don't chase only fluency, chase connection. Let your words carry kindness, courage, and truth. That's when language stops being just something you learn and becomes something you live. Mistakes are not signs of failure. They are footprints on the path to mastery. Every error, every mispronounced word, every awkward sentence is proof that you're trying, learning, and growing. The beauty of mistakes lies in what they teach you about yourself, your patience, your persistence, and your willingness to rise again. Alex learned this lesson the hard way. In the Library of Lost Words, he often stumbled over unfamiliar expressions. Sometimes the glowing letters dimmed when he spoke them incorrectly. He would pause, feeling embarrassed, wanting to stop, but the voice of the library whispered, "Every word you break teaches you how to build." Slowly, he began to understand that perfection was not the goal. Progress was. The truth is, every fluent speaker was once a beginner filled with mistakes. They too mixed up tenses, forgot meanings, and hesitated before speaking. What separated them from those who gave up wasn't talent. It was their courage to continue despite imperfection. Every mistake they made became a lesson carved into memory. When you make a mistake, something magical happens. Your mind pays attention. You remember what went wrong and why. That's how real learning takes place, not through fear of getting it wrong, but through curiosity about how to make it right. Each error becomes a small teacher, guiding you toward clarity and confidence. So instead of hiding from your mistakes, welcome them, laugh at them, learn from them, because they are proof that you're doing what many only dream of doing. You're learning a new language, stretching your limits, and shaping a stronger version of yourself. Alex eventually discovered that the words that once disappeared when he mispronounced them began to shine brighter each time he tried again. The library rewarded effort, not perfection. And that's exactly how life works too. Mistakes don't define you, they refine you. They turn your weakness into wisdom and your effort into excellence. Reading is like stepping into 1,000 different lives without ever leaving your chair. It's one of the most powerful ways to learn English, not because it fills your mind with rules, but because it fills your heart with stories. Through reading, you don't just learn words, you experience them. You hear how they sound in the silence of your mind, you see how they dance through emotions, and you feel how they shape meaning. When Alex first began reading in the Library of Lost Words, he didn't always understand everything. Some sentences seemed heavy, full of strange words and unfamiliar phrases, but instead of giving up, he treated each book like a door. Every page he turned opened a new world. When he read The Little Prince, he learned about wonder. When he explored Pride and Prejudice, he discovered how language could express pride, vulnerability, and love all at once. Reading did something that lessons never could. It made him feel connected. He started to see that every book was a conversation between the writer and the reader, between the past and the present. Even when the author was long gone, their thoughts still lived through their words. That realization gave him hope, because if others could share their hearts through English, maybe he could too. Each story became his teacher. From stories, he learned rhythm, emotion, and expression. From poems, he learned the beauty of simplicity. From novels, he learned how ideas grow inside language like seeds in soil. Slowly, he began to understand that reading wasn't just a tool to learn English, it was a way to become part of something greater. When you read, you let your imagination travel beyond time and borders. You begin to see that English isn't owned by anyone. It belongs to everyone who dares to dream through it. So if you ever feel stuck or unmotivated, open a book. Let its words wash over you. Because somewhere within those pages, you'll find not just English, you'll find yourself. Patience is the quiet strength that holds every learner together. It's what keeps you steady when progress feels invisible, when words refuse to come, and when your voice trembles with uncertainty. Learning English, or anything meaningful, takes time, and patience is what turns that time into transformation. Alex didn't understand this at first. In the beginning, he wanted results. He wanted to speak fluently, read quickly, and understand everything at once. But in the Library of Lost Words, time worked differently. The more he rushed, the more the pages resisted him. Words blurred, sentences faded, and meanings slipped away. It was only when he began to slow down, to breathe, and to let each word sink into him that the library opened its doors fully. That's when he discovered that learning isn't a race, it's a rhythm. Patience teaches you to listen, to observe, and to let understanding grow naturally. Just like a seed needs time to sprout, your mind needs time to absorb new language. Every day you read a sentence, every time you repeat a phrase, your brain is quietly building connections. You might not see the results immediately, but they're happening deep inside you, where effort turns into skill. There were days when Alex felt he wasn't improving at all. He spoke, but the words sounded broken. He read, but the meaning escaped him. Yet he kept returning to the library. He trusted the process. Slowly, he noticed change, not in a single moment, but in the gentle flow of progress. A word he once struggled to pronounce came naturally. A phrase he once translated in his head began to feel instinctive. That's what patience gives you. The miracle of gradual mastery. Patience is not weakness, it's wisdom. It reminds you that learning English is not about speed, but about depth. The deeper you go, the stronger your roots become. So don't rush. Be kind to your journey. Every slow step forward is still progress. And in time, you'll look back and realize that what once felt impossible has quietly become a part of you. Language is more than a tool for communication. It's a bridge that connects hearts, cultures, and generations. When you learn English, you're not just learning words, you're learning how to reach people from every corner of the world. You're gaining access to ideas, stories, and experiences that would otherwise remain silent to you. English becomes a doorway to understanding others. And in that understanding, you begin to understand yourself. Alex discovered this truth one evening when he opened a book filled with letters written by people from different countries. Each letter told a story of love, struggle, hope, and discovery. Though the voices came from faraway lands, the emotions were the same. Through English, he could feel what they felt. It didn't matter where they were from, their words carried the same human heartbeat. That night, he realized that language has the power to erase distance. The more he learned, the more connected he felt to the world. He began reading stories from Africa, essays from Europe, poems from Japan, and speeches from America. Each piece added a new shade to his understanding of humanity. English became a thread that wove him into a vast global tapestry. It taught him that no culture stands alone. Every voice adds something to the melody of life. And connection isn't just about geography, it's about generations too. Alex often read old classics written centuries ago. Though time had changed everything else, the words still spoke clearly. When Shakespeare wrote about love, or when Emerson wrote about dreams, Alex felt the same emotions they had felt. English had preserved those feelings, carrying them across time like a timeless echo. Learning English, then, is not just about fluency, it's about connection. Every time you share your thoughts in English, you reach someone new. You cross barriers of background, belief, and distance. And when you listen, truly listen, to another person's words, you give them a piece of your understanding in return. That's the real magic of language. It reminds us that beneath our differences, we all share the same human story. Every learner carries a story waiting to be told. It doesn't matter how simple your words are or how uncertain your grammar feels. Your voice holds something unique that no one else in the world can express the same way. Learning English isn't just about understanding others, it's about discovering your own voice and realizing that what you have to say matters. Alex learned this during one quiet night in the Library of Lost Words. He came across a mirror-shaped book, its surface reflecting his face instead of text. Confused, he asked, "Where are the words?" The voice of the library whispered, "The words you seek are inside you." It was then that he understood. Learning English wasn't just about reading what others had written. It was about finding the courage to create his own story. He began to write simple sentences about his fears, his hopes, his memories. At first, the words were clumsy, uneven, but the more he wrote, the clearer they became. Each word carried a piece of his journey, his struggle, and his growth. In time, those imperfect sentences turned into something beautiful, a reflection of who he was becoming. Every learner experiences this moment when they realize they have something worth saying. Maybe it's a thought, a dream, a message, or a memory, but it's yours, and no one else can tell it the way you can. English is simply the bridge that allows you to share it with the world. It gives your inner voice wings. You don't need to wait until your English is perfect to speak or write. Perfection isn't the goal. Expression is. The power of your story lies not in flawless language, but in honest emotion. When you share your words with sincerity, they will always find a listener. Alex's story reminds us that the greatest reward of learning English isn't mastery, it's discovery. Discovery of your ideas, your creativity, your courage to speak. So write, speak, share. Even if your voice shakes, because somewhere out there, someone is waiting to hear your story, and it might be the light they need to find their own.